Good morning. I'm Kristen from the Neverending TBR in Kristen's Corner. As promised, I'm here with my October wrap-up. If you read in my community tab, my grandmother I opened it, but she found a puzzle that she had brought from New York. I'm convinced there are missing pieces. Anywho, we were up until 1 a.m. putting the puzzle together, and I had to tap out. But before I went to bed, I did take notes, because it's been a while. Like, some of the books I finished right in the beginning of October, so I had to go back and try and remember some of the key points that I liked about each book. Without further ado, these are the books I read. I DNF'd Blood Work. The concept was great, but the characters were super boring. Like, you could have made a serial killer and a vampire. Like, that was just, I don't know. I don't remember when she was made. No, she was a 50-year-old vampire. So that would put her in the 70s-ish. And she was a little Japanese-American vampire. So you could have expanded on her. I honestly don't know if they did, but from what the reviews of the people that did finish the book, it didn't. So and the serial killer was just very whiny. You know, he's lonely. The whole thing is it puts up a partner in crime, basically, a flyer up. And as people show up to this destination to meet him, he doesn't like them, so they go missing. So the police end up finding him, and that's when the vampire steps in, and you find out that the vampire's been watching him to see what he would do, how he killed, and things like that. And that concept was kind of cool, but they didn't expand it. And the vampire was a nurse because she needed to be close to the source, basically. And he gets hurt when the police take him, so she takes care of him, and then she brings him home, gives him a key, and says, hey, cool beans, we're besties, come and go as you please. Not realizing that she targets herself as his ultimate kill kind of thing. So it could have been executed a little bit differently. It dragged so much, and I complained about it all of September into October, so I just let it go. What's the other ones? Okay, so I read It Happened One Autumn, and Devil in Winter by Lisa Kleypas. I read those the beginning of the month because I was trying to catch up for the Wallflowers read along live. It Happened One Autumn, I gave 4 stars. I can't remember why. I don't remember what it was. I know that I kept putting the book down, and with the other two, I didn't. I had to know what was going to happen and whatever. And the same thing with Devil in Winter. That one got 5 stars because it was such a neat concept. Like, the idea that this young woman is the product of a brothel owner that used to be like a boxer kind of thing, a fighter. And he buys this brothel, and he tries to make it, just swim or whatever. And her mother was like, not an heiress, but she was born of nobility. So when she passed, when she had the baby, and it's this woman, I don't want to give names and everything like that. I know that they've been around, but I really think that if you're looking to get into historical romance, these are the books, because I have a very hard time with historical romance. So, and I love these books. I love the characters. I love the old-timey where I am. She's very good with descriptors, and you feel like you're in the room with the characters. So I really enjoy them. Anyway, so this young woman finds out that her father is sick, and she used to be able to go spend time with him, but then once she started developing and everything, she couldn't really be in a brothel. So he told the family, hey, you know, hold on. Okay, so anyway, she can't go to the brothel, and she decides that she can't get married, and she knows that there's this guy that is just, in historical romance it's called a rake, but he's just this shady character that anything goes. So she throws in her card, like, hey, you know, I have this position for you to become my husband, with the caveat that I get to see my father before he passes. And then it's all about them, you know, taking over the brothel and making it an actual business. And it was really cool. I really liked it. And I love all the old characters coming back. You know, it's kind of like when you watch any kind of TV show and all of a sudden characters start coming back and you're like, oh, I missed you. You know. So and I don't remember if I said it, but Devil in Winter is tied with Secrets of a Summer Night. That's still top tier for me, but this was right neck and neck with it so far with the series. What else did I read? I'll go with my 4 stars and then I'll end with my 5. Okay, so I read Butcher Game, which is part of the Butcher and the Wren series. It looks like it's going to be a series. I did my first review live thing with Jenny and Steph. I'll link that down below for the Love and Horror book club. I had read the first one in May. I wasn't impressed. So when I told them, I was like, yeah, I want to join the book club and whatever, they're like, okay, we need a co-host for this month. And, you know, this is the book. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. Because the first book, like, it just felt like the author was so jumbled. Like, she had all these great ideas, and I don't want to give it away because the series is kind of newer, but if you read the back of the book, it's she's kind of like not a mortician. Crap, what are they called? She's the doctor that helps solve how people died. She's Temperance Brennan, but she's Wren in this one. Anyway, so it starts off, the first book is based in New Orleans, and there's this backstory of how the butcher has evolved as a serial killer. And you find out that this doctor figures out that it's him. And the kill scenes, and not the kill scenes, but the when they find the bodies and how that came about, I found that interesting. But I didn't find him interesting, and I didn't find her interesting in the first book. And it ends with this cliffhanger. And the second book takes off where he's on the run. And she's on the fence on whether or not she's going to take the case and work with the detective from the first book and go out of state to find him. I enjoyed it more. I gave Butcher and the Wren, I think, 3 stars, just because it was a well-written book. It was too much. You know, the flashbacks would come in as you were getting into a scene, and I really despise that. Like, finish your thought and then we'll do a flashback. I don't care that there's a flashback, but I want you to finish your thought. This one, because he was on the run, it felt like she had to map out his progression better, in my opinion. So as he was going state to state, she had to actually look up, like, where it could be in the state, what could be there, how would he move physically from state to state to get to where he goes. And then where he ends up, it felt like the author knew the area better than New Orleans, because I've been to both places, and I could picture where he ends up better. So I liked it better. I probably will finish the series if it leaves on a cliffhanger, so I'm assuming that there's going to be a third. I think she's just finding out from the publisher how well it does. The other thing that gave the other star for me is there's a interview with her sister or sister-in-law who has a podcast, and there was a Q&A at the end of the book that was fantastic. So yeah, and I had fun. I know I need to work on my wording better to describe books and to describe my feelings for books, and even just when I do reviews for Goodreads and stuff, but for me it was just a tracking system for myself. So if it was really cool, I'd put really cool, and I like this, or you know. But that doesn't help in this space. And I noticed it when I was talking with Jenny and Steph during the live, so that's something I have to work on. But overall, 4 stars. The other 4-star was horror movie. I loved listening to it. I loved the table reads. I thought that was really cool. I loved it. Reminded me of the show Cursed Films. I love that show. I like oh my god, The History of Horror better. But I love Cursed Films and finding out things that happened on set and things like that. I love behind the scenes, anything. So the fact that the book felt like a lost episode of Cursed Films was awesome. What else? I didn't like the bullying. The bullying was really rough. It's based on, well, the whole concept of the book is that they're revamping a horror movie that became a cult classic, because it never really got finished because something happens to a cast member. So there's all this lore that goes around this movie that never really made it to theaters. And so they're going to try and revamp it because the director has taken some of the footage from that film and edited it together and put it on YouTube for free. And it is going to be made into a motion picture. And there's only, I think, a few cast members left while they're in the process of making the new movie. And the guy that becomes the whole point of the horror movie, it's told by his perspective. And just how they got him to play the character and then how his character had to act and how they wanted him to be in character throughout the movie, and the bullying that happened. It was really hard to listen to. I loved the twist at the end. I know that a lot of readers probably was like, really? You know? But for me, I'm like, that's kind of neat. You know? Did he become part of the character, or was he always the character? You know? It kind of leaves it up for discussion. So I enjoyed it. Okay. And then Such Sharp Teeth, I gave 4 stars. It dragged as she was getting ready for, she finally accepts that she's a werewolf. It's about werewolves. It's about this woman. She hits something. She thinks it's a bear. It's a werewolf. She gets mauled, ends up in the hospital, heals, and it's the process of her healing and finding out what she is. And it's the beginnings of most cozy mysteries, but it's not cozy. And it's about this woman that she came back from the city to help her sister raise a baby, and her sister's pregnant, and she has an estranged mom, and you find out why. And there's some of her friends that are still in the town. There's one friend that did move out like her, but she comes back for I forget why she comes back, but anyway, it's all about that. And so she's going through all of those things. Oh, and there, of course, there's a guy that had a crush on her in high school, and now he's this hot, buff, awesome guy, and they end up together. And he finds out that she is a werewolf, and it's just, I like the fact that they use like modern technology, and then trying to find in the modern world old-timey remedies for things that are lore. That was kind of fun. I did love the ending. The ending, she gives an ultimatum to the wolf that turned her, and there's like a postcard from them later on. That was really cute. But yeah, it dragged, because she finds out that there's a remedy, but it causes her pain. It causes her to lose her memory and lose time. I don't know. It just, I felt like it could have been minimized a little bit. Oh, my nose. Hold on one second. Okay, last one. And that's my last 5-star. Horror Store was fantastic. I just, oh my gosh, it was just awesome. I have a huge fear of IKEA, and it's not fear, it's just I hate being told as a shopper that I have to complete the maze in order to purchase or get out of it. Like, I hate that. And I hate the fact that I am that demographic where as I'm going through, I just start picking up random things because it's only $5. Well, of course I need this. And then you get it home and it breaks. And IKEA and I are not friends. I don't know. I love like their closet. Like, I love their room displays, but you can't take it with you unless you hire somebody, or you have to get the tools to do it. It ticks me off. Like, let me have a universal thing that uses universal tools that I can decide whether or not I want to take this display piece with me when I leave for my next apartment or whatever. So that's IKEA. But Horror Store is this, there's damage happening to an IKEA type store, and the manager's like, we need to get on it. So he takes a few, like, no, two employees, one that is like over the top, I'll do anything for the company because I've been with the company, and you know, she's that employee of the month type person. And then the other one is the polar opposite where she is like, I'm just here for a paycheck, like I can do the company line and everything like that, but when I go home, I'm me. So I loved her. And so it's those two and the manager are trying to figure out who is destroying the property at nighttime, because they came in and there was like feces on a couch and all this other stuff, and corporate's coming. And the manager's like, if corporate gets involved, then we can't take care of it from the inside and we could lose our jobs. So it's wild. And the commercials before, so I immersion read it, and the commercials are hilarious. They're absolutely hilarious. And it was great transitioning from like an intense scene where you're like, oh my god, are they gonna get out of this thing? And then it goes to the next chapter and it's a commercial. I died. I thought it was so funny. But yeah, it was definitely worth listening to. I think it's a 5-6 hour book, so if you're one of those people that can listen to it on 2 times speed, it's an awesome read. And then something happens when they find out what's going on and how they get hired back in. It was awesome. It was just, and then of course there's somebody on staff that wants to become like the next ghost hunter and have a TV show and all these things. You gotta read it. But you know that I'm a Grady Hendrix stan, so you know, it was so good. But yeah, that was my favorite book next to Devil in Winter. That was my favorite book that I read. So how did you do in October? Hopefully you did better than I did. I just, with everything going on, it was bananas in my brain and I could not focus on books. So I hope you're off to a great start. For the month of November, I'm going to be finishing The Spell Shop. Super cute. Absolutely cute. And ironically, very what's going on right now with the world kind of thing. Like, it's very cozy and cute, but it also has world views in it that I was shocked that I identified with. So loving that. And then tomorrow, if you have read the Wallflowers or you want to start getting into historical romance and you just want to pop on, I don't know who's hosting tomorrow. I want to say it's Tara. I'll check and I'll link the video with B naming all the co-hosts, and then I'll try and figure out who is running the live tomorrow. I'm trying to think. This is the book for Love and Horror this month. It's Mayfly. It's about a serial killer finding love at a place like Disneyland or Universal Studios. I'm here for it. I love the cover. My physical copy is coming next week, and I want to immersion read it and annotate it. So that's exciting. And then I'll try and put the Discord, and I don't know whose channel is gonna do the live. I'm trying to think. There's somebody else this week. It could have been B. I know Hannah has a lot of stuff going on. I hung out with her, well, hung out on her live last Saturday. She was doing a 48-hour readathon to gobble up your goals. I got through some books. And then Steph and Jenny also did a 48-hour readathon. I'm trying to think, there was somebody else that was doing something. Now I can't remember. If I think of it, it'll be in the description. If not, I'll come back around as I find things out. Odds are you are subscribed to the same people that I am, so you might even know what I'm talking about. I hope you're having a great day and a great week. I'll see you next week. Bye.